Well, good morning. It is about 10 to 11 on Saturday, November 18th, and I am here at the Haliburton Highlands Water Trails Herb Lake Access. I'm here just to do a one-night trip with the canoe, and I'm going to test out the new Lite Outdoors Isola 4 hot tent that I just got, and my new FireHiking titanium wood stove. So I'm really excited to be using these two products this winter. I just want to take them out somewhere easy, somewhere safe. I brought some wood with me I just picked up at the Foodland, so I don't really have to do much else. My main focus is to set up the tent, set up the stove, test it all out, see how it works, see what the setup's like, all that stuff, get comfortable with the tent before I take it out in some crazy extreme winter conditions. The temperature right now is about -1, feels like -3 with the wind chill. The winds are supposed to pick up a little bit. It's very quiet right now. So normally a bin this size is what my Nyko Alaskan Junior stove fits in, and that would be it. It would just be the wood stove. But in this bin today I have firewood, my tarp, my welding blanket, and my titanium wood stove. So all of that fits in there. I don't always bring wood when I go out on trips, but I know this is a highly used area. But yes, this is local firewood that I picked up in the area. FYI, these fleece hand warmers inside this PFD are coming in really handy right now. Thanks, Alice. Let's get going. Well, I'm just paddling through Herb Lake. It is absolutely gorgeous out. The sun has now come back out. There were some light clouds here when I got here, but most of them are gone. And the wind has died down. It's calm-ish out. I mean, it's not near, but it's November, so I'm not complaining at all. It's super quiet out here. There's no one out here. And I saw an eagle already, so I'm hoping that's a good sign of things to come. Campsite also has a really nice access, which was something that was important to me with the firewood and all the gear. Just so I don't have to do any gymnastics when I'm climbing over boulders to get into the campsite. Yeah, I just wanted to double check and make sure this was the right one, because like I said, everything looks so different. Alright, it's just going on 11:30, and here I am. Yeah, when I took that video at the Access at 10 to 11, I did a bunch of filming. Oh, there's a little bit of a skim of ice on the bay here. Just noticed. That's nice. I like paddling in ice. So here's the campsite. There's the canoe. There's the campsite. I'm just going to decide where the best place to put the tent is. Very sheltered site, as I mentioned. I had pictures putting the tent somewhere in here. Possibly right here. This nice piece of wood. It's beautiful. Let's get it out of the way. Yeah, that's a great spot for the tent right there. Fire pit. Somebody left a bunch of wood. Very, very kind. I'm starting to see this more and more often in other places than Temagami, which is really awesome. It's really, really great. And I can also add to my stash by cutting some more wood as well, and adding to what I already brought. So there's a big rock here. Nice look out. There's the boat way down there. And I believe the sun's going to go down somewhere around here. I'll have to check. It does change. The last time I was here, I was on that campsite over there, and the sun went down over here, but that was August. It's November, and the sun goes down in different places at different times of the year, so I'll have to check my little app and my compass and see. I do have cell service here a little bit, I noticed. Not sure how stable it is, but I did just get a text message about 10 minutes ago. And not that I need it, just so you guys know, in case you're looking for a place that has service. Here's the privy sign. And there it is. A spot for a privy. These stakes came with the tent. They're super lightweight stakes. There's 12 of them. And they're fantastic for right now, but in the winter time, I'll probably be switching these out for different types of stakes depending on the terrain I'm gonna be going to. I have a big bag of stakes that I bring on winter trips, and it has ice stakes, it has long stakes, short stakes, all different kinds of stakes depending on if I'm camping in deep snow or dirt like this on the ground, or ice or rocks. So, but for today I'm going to use the ones that came with it. They are really nice stakes. So what I was afraid of here, there's a big rock here and there's rock here as well. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the stake in here. I'm going to have to kind of play around and see if I can find a spot where it's not rock. And get it in. Rock. Rock. Not rock. There we go, not as good. Rock. Maybe. It's not very deep. It's all rock. That might have gone enough, but I don't think it's going to be over enough for this side. Oh yeah, that might work. Okay. I'm not sure if it's deep enough, but we'll see. You don't want to make these corners too tight because they just pull up when you put the pole in, so give it a little bit of slack, but still keep it square. I'm always saying this, I know this is my first time setting up this tent at camp and my second time ever, but this tent is almost the exact same dimensions of my solo homemade hot tent. It's 1/4 of an inch, 0.25 inches, bigger on each side than my solo tent. That's how close the measurements are. Oh, we got it. Okay, should do. All right, just need to get my pole. Now what I really love about this pole is it's an adjustable pole. And the pole that I was using for my hot tent is a painter's pole. And so what I did was I had to drill holes in it and then put a nail through it to keep it from sliding. This has these. And that's fantastic because you can adjust the size to whatever height you need. Now you might say, well, You're using the same tent every time. Why would you need different heights? In the winter time, you've got snow. You could be camping on 2 feet, 3 feet of snow, but it's packed down. So the sides might go down lower, the pole might go higher, the pole might go lower. The pole might sink into the snow, the pole might sink into the ground, the pole might be up on top of ice. So this helps to make it different sizes for all of those situations. Now this tent is supposed to be 6 feet-ish, I believe. I'll have to pull the stats up and put them down here because I don't remember exactly. But I think it's 6 foot tall. I am 5'4". So when I set it up the first time, I noticed that it wasn't as high as I thought it would be. So I'm gonna go with this one first. It's 4 clicks in. Might be a little tight. Make it 2 clicks in. Alright, there we go. In the snow, this would have been set up a lot faster, most likely. But with this on bare ground and rock, it's kind of tricky. So what I did was I put the stake in kind of like this way. That's why I kept pulling out, because it wasn't deep enough. I put a bunch of rocks on top of either side and piled them on top, and I didn't put the pole as high as it should be. I think it should be up 1 more click. But I don't want that really super tight tension to pull the corner out again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and stake the bottom a little bit more. Now if there was snow, I'd be putting snow all around here, and that would help to, you know, keep all the drafts and stuff from coming into the tent. Looks good, I think. And now I'm going to set up the stove. Alright, as I mentioned, I have the stove in here. This is the stove, and I've got a bunch of stuff in it. So that's all. So small. Got a tarp here for the ground. And then I have just a bunch of wood here. Not a ton, but just enough. All right, let's get this baby all put together. If you'd like to see more information about the stove, I did make a separate YouTube video that is up on my channel already about this stove. So you can check that out if you want to see more info. But here it is. I've put all my my gadgets from my other stove in here. Just brought some wire in case I need it, some clips. I also have a brand new carbon monoxide detector. Teeny tiny thing here, just to be extra safe. So I'll be setting that up and talking about that a little bit later. And it is supposed to be mixed precipitation today. I'm really hoping for snow, but it might be more rain. And because of that, I am going to use the spark arrestor today. I don't really recommend using these a lot because they trap creosote in here, and if this gets blocked, the smoke can't get out, and then it will come back in your tent and it can cause you a lot of problems. But because it's supposed to be mixed precipitation, I don't want the rain to go down the pipe, and the pipe is going straight up out the tent, unlike my other one, which has a bend in it. And I haven't had time to get a proper elbow or another cap for this. They do make them. I have seen some online, but I just haven't gotten around to getting one yet because I don't intend to use this very much, but I am going to use it this trip, and I do have dry wood. Now when you're using wet wood, there's a much bigger chance of this getting clogged. Let's get this going here. So here is the stove. This is it. If you haven't seen the video or my social media posts, this is the stove here. It weighs let's just say 4 pounds, but I did weigh it at home on my scale, and it came to 3.14. So 3 pounds, 14 ounces. I believe 4 pounds is 16 ounces. I think there's 16 ounces in a pound. So yeah, I have done the first burn on it, as I mentioned, and I'm really curious to see if this is gonna pop back into shape, because that's what they tell me it will do. Super easy to set up this stove, which is good because most likely I'm going to be in snow and very cold conditions when I'm using this. Not like today. Today it's like -2 or something like that. So whole different thing when you're in the cold. It's a lot harder to do things, which is why I chose this stove, because I found it easy to put together but still very light, and exactly what I need. Okay, so now you can see here that it did warp a little bit with the burn, and they say that does happen, but as long as I can get it all back together, I'm good. You can put the window, I got a whole bunch of pine needles in here, sorry. You can put the window on either side you want. Today I think I'm going to put it on, oh my gosh, these pine needles. Today I'm going to put it on this side, and there's just 2 slots here. Again, I have a full YouTube video on this stove and putting it together, setting it up, all that, if you want to check that out. I'm going to screw this in nice and tight because this is what holds the pipe on. Alright, so that's done. Now, what we've all been waiting for, the pipe. So, supposedly, if you take these rings off and you unroll it, it will pop back into shape. And I did a test of that when I did the video on the stove, and it did do it. But it's been rolled up like this now for about a week. So, let's see what happens. Almost. Pretty much. Okay. You can tell right away where the pipe was at the stove, where most of the color is. So we get these rings on. Don't lose them. Make sure that this is straight. Now, because I have pushed in these punch outs, you can see in here this way that it's not going to slide all the way on now, like all the way down. It's going to go on about 1 inch, and that's as far as it'll go because the openings are there in the way. So, all right, so we've got that. There, and there. Okay, and now I am ready. I'm going to slide this down to open this a bit more so I can put it on top of here, but I have to do this inside the tent because the pipe has got to go through the stove jack. All right, so what I did was I have a blanket from Princess Auto called a welding blanket, and you can get them from Princess Auto. They used to be about 20 bucks. I think they're like 30-ish now. This is about 1/3 of mine. This is the material that I use to make the stove jacks in my homemade hot tents. And it's a great thing to have to put underneath your stove. These will be good for up to 600 degrees Celsius, I believe it is. And the only thing you have to do is be careful when you're cutting it. It's like a knit sweater, and as soon as you start cutting it, it frays like crazy. So what I found to be the best solution for that is just to use some masking tape. So what I did was I laid out my blanket on the floor in my living room. I put 2 strips of masking tape on either side of the blanket, and then I cut, and then I put another piece of masking tape on the edge and went over half on each side. so that it seals it right in. You can do a zigzag stitch, but it's pretty hard to get it to catch all of it. I've just found working with these blankets, this seems to be the best way to keep it from fraying and to be able to cut it. So I cut another piece that's about 2/3 of the blanket. This is maybe 1/3, and that's going to be used to go underneath my Nyko Alaskan Junior in the bigger homemade hot tent, because I didn't need the whole blanket for this, and these are quite heavy. So I put this underneath here, I put it under the pole, and I just put the tarp down. I'm gonna be sleeping on this side, I'm assuming. Again, this is all new for me. My stove in my hot tent sits right here. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to set it up and how it's gonna work the best. Now, the thing is, the stove jack is here. So the pipe has gotta come here. So this is really the only place that you can put the stove, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to best situate it. All right, so here's the pipe. I'm gonna stick it right through here. First time. Try not to knock over the camera while I'm doing it. Of course, the camera is in the way. There we go. I don't want to move any of the clips. The hole is, I think, just the right size. But I don't want it to push any of the clips down. Okay, this should be about there. And this goes on here. Ah! Come back. Pretty funny. Okay. Again, very first time doing this, so taking my time, want it all done right. Okay, so basically you just open up a little bit of the pipe. It is rolled, but you can kind of open it up a little bit so that it goes around the connection here. And then what I did when I did my burn is I just took one of these rings and I brought it down as far as possible to help to keep that nice and tight on the stove. Well, hello. This is the third time I'm making this video. Apparently my phone was almost full, and I would hit record and come and sit here and talk a little bit about the setup, and then about 15 seconds into the video my phone just stopped recording. So I would get up to go and turn it off and it would already be off, and I didn't understand why. I'm like, oh, I didn't hit record, but I did. It just shut off after 15 seconds. It did that 3 or 4 times to me. So I'm a little bit pissed, but there's nothing I can do about it except for to redo the video while I'm having my lunch, which I'm gonna do really quickly right now. I'm gonna check and make sure it's recording first though. All right, so I've got everything set up the way that I think it's gonna work well. Might change things around, you never know, we'll see what happens, but for now this is the setup. I've got a tarp down here on the side. I've got my Thermarest Solite, which I use in the winter. It's R-rated, I think, for 2.4, 2.5, something like that. And then I also have my Neo Air sleeping bag. It is by Thermarest, and it is the Neo Air Trekker, which I believe is also rated around 2R rating. And then I've got my winter sleeping bag, which I use year-round now because I've had it for a long time. A lot of times I don't uncompress it because I'm going on trips every other weekend, and it's lost its rating. I just have a wrap here with some chicken and some grated lactose-free marbled cheese and some mayo. So I'm just going to eat this quick, and then I think I might go out on the water just for a little bit. And then come back in and get nice and warm and comfy cozy in the tent. The temperature has gone down. There is a thermometer actually on the CO2 detector, and if I had my glasses I would see what it says, and it's red, so it's hard to see. It does say it's 75% humidity, I can see that, and the temperature says it's -2 on here. So that's about it for now. Like I said, I'm just going to sit here and eat my lunch, and then I'll be back in a bit. Hopefully it was recorded this time. Cheers. So when I got here, there was a skim of ice closer to the shoreline here, probably about halfway into the bay, but it's gone now. Might be a little bit there on the end, but the temperature's, I guess, warmed up enough since this morning to get rid of that. The sky's starting to get a bit dark, and I think that rain that's forecast is going to start coming in soon. It says around 3 or 4 o'clock on my weather network app, and it's just after 2. It's coming. Well, I thought I'd take advantage and get out for a bit of a paddle. Probably be returning this boat soon to H2O, so we'll paddle it as much as possible. Yeah, there's the ice. It just shrank back a little bit, that's all, but it's still there. Gonna paddle into the bay here. I did bring my saw in case there's any driftwood or anything. This place gets used pretty frequently in the summertime, so I'm assuming there isn't too much wood laying around, which is why I brought some. I didn't want to have to worry about gathering wood, so I'm just gonna have to burn what I have very slowly. Oh, I see what looks to be a donkey up ahead. Also known as a probably fallen tree with some branches sticking up. It sure does look like a donkey. Oh, some waterfalls up here. I can't remember what was up here. Yeah, there's a portage. It's really pretty out here in a gloomy kind of way. Got a duck. Oh, I got a rock. I was looking ahead, trying to get the duck. I'm assuming it's a duck. I can't tell. It's really far away. It looks very tiny, whatever it is. I thought at first it was a baby loon that got left behind, but I can't really see it. It's too far. It certainly does look like a loon. Aw, so bad. Probably wasn't big enough to fly. Ah. Lost him this time for good. Oh, he's part. Oh my gosh, it was a loon. Ah, it just flew by me. I didn't have enough time to grab the camera. It was either look at it to see or grab the camera and try to film it, and I would have missed it. So it flew right by me. And yeah, that was a baby loon. Oh, that's sad. I decided to come check out the portage since I'm here. Last time I did that when I was in Algonquin a few weekends ago, I saw some really pretty scenery, so figured why not. It says this is Herb Lake to Mims Lake, 70-meter portage. Cute little portage. I found some wood. I'm going to put that in the canoe. I broke up one of the pieces. The other piece has to be sawed, which I have my saw here. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at this. It's beautiful. I just got smacked in the face by a branch. Oh man, that hurt. Wow. Yeah, everything's working okay. All right, I'm gonna get back in the boat. I got a bunch of wood and make my way back to the campsite slowly. Oh, this paid off huge. I didn't expect to see this. It's beautiful. I was just filming the waterfalls and I noticed this huge tree here. Look at that. There's some pretty big trees. There's a really big one at the other end of the portage, and I didn't film it, but that's a massive tree right there. It's gotta be a decent age. It's beautiful. All right, it's 3:15, and took a bunch of pictures of the waterfalls and videos, and I think I'm ready to jump in the canoe and head back. Like I said, I got a bit of wood. I didn't get a ton, but I got a decent amount. So I'm gonna make my way back. No wildlife, unfortunately. I was kind of curious about the temperature, so I took my little thermometer out. It says it's 1.4 degrees, 72%, 74% humidity. So, not super warm out, but I'm pretty comfortable now. A little bit of ice there. Where I just got back onto the water. I'm not sure if my eye got hit a little bit too hard or I'm seeing things, but I keep seeing a couple of little flurries pass by my eyes every few minutes. Just a little tiny bit. I think it might be starting to snow. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you saw, please click the subscribe button. Also click the bell for notifications. If you'd like to get more information on the stuff I use on my trips, please check out my website at CamperChristina.com. Thanks. Bye.